Today, we are going to work on a very important grammatical point in English, the passive. Okay, let's go and get to know what passive is. So let's get started. Passive. Okay, before that, we're going to just take a look at two sentences here. We have two sentences and we are going to just analyze that to see what the formula is, okay, before just teaching this part. Okay, so I want to just make a reminder here. Take a look at the link above for the previous sessions, okay? So the previous sessions, again, we had a lot of grammatical points which were really important and useful. Let's go. So, what's the first sentence? The office is cleaned every day. So, the office is cleaned every day. This is one sentence, okay, that we have here. And another sentence, the office was cleaned yesterday. Okay, so the office was cleaned yesterday. Again, the second sentence. Okay, there is something abnormal here. Okay, so what is the abnormal thing? Here we have is, okay, and here we have past participle. Again, here was past participle. Okay, so we haven't used such a formula before. Okay, in simple present tense, we used the simple verb or verb plus s for the third person. Okay, for instance, I clean, she cleans. So in simple past tense, we used the past form of the verb. Okay, so I cleaned, she cleaned. This is the regular verb. Okay, so that we add ed. If it is irregular, I can say I spoke, she spoke. So that's the case. Let's go to present continuous tense. In present continuous tense, am is are plus ing form. I am cleaning, she is cleaning. So how about in past continuous form? I was cleaning, she was cleaning. So was or verb plus ing, the gerund form. Okay. So how about present perfect? I have cleaned, she has cleaned. So again, have or has plus past participle. So this is something unusual. Is plus past participle, was plus past participle. Okay, another unusual thing here is that. Here, we are not talking about a person. Okay, so I, you, he, she, Mary, Jack, John. So we don't have such a thing here. So we see that the office, a place, and here again the office. So can the office clean itself? Is it possible? So again, we see that there is something wrong here, okay? Actually, it's not wrong, but at the first glance, we understand that these two sentences are totally different, okay? So, this is about everyday and routine, but this is about yesterday, okay? The past tense. So, that's the case. Now, let's see what is happening in this section. So, in this section, somebody cleans the office every day. Okay, so the problem is solved. Here we see that this is simple present tense because here we have cleans, okay, and every day. So somebody cleans the office every day. But again, another form of that, as we just talked about it above, is like this. The office is cleaned every day. It has the same meaning. It contains the same meaning as the first sentence. So somebody cleans the office every day. The office is cleaned every day. Let's go. Somebody cleaned the office yesterday. Okay, simple past tense. So here yesterday and here cleaned. The past form of the verb clean. So somebody cleaned the office yesterday. Another form of that, the office was cleaned yesterday. Okay, so what are the differences in these two sentences? Okay, we see that somebody in both sentences are omitted, okay? So somebody is omitted in both sentences. So instead of somebody, here we have the office. So the office comes at the first part of the sentence. Do you see that? In both of them, this is true. However, the verb changes, okay? In simple present tense, is cleaned, and in simple past tense, was cleaned, okay? So because this is every day and this is yesterday. These are the changes that are happening to our sentences. Okay, so here, what is the passive? Passive is a sentence which doesn't contain the doer at the first part of the sentence. Pay attention. So there is no doer. We don't say who did the action or who does the action. Okay, so we call that passive voice. Let's go to the formula. Here, for simple present tense passive, the formula is like this. Object, okay, so we don't have subject here. Object plus am is are. Okay, so for instance, I am, okay? So, or for instance, if I am a subject, I can say, I am loved. I am loved by my parents, like this. Or is are, that is related to your object. If your object is plural, you can use are. If it is singular, is. So let's go. Plus past participle, okay, the third form of the verb or verb 3. So that's it. Let's go to the next formula. Simple past passive. Here, object plus was or were. Okay, here was or were. Based on your object. If your object is singular, was. If it is plural, were. So was or were plus past participle, the third form of the verb or verb 3. Okay, so because here our verb is regular, only we add ed. So pay attention to the first formula. Object am is are past participle. The office is cleaned every day. And object plus was or were past participle. The office was cleaned yesterday. Let's go for more examples. Now, there are some examples on the board for us to understand passive better. So, we are working on the passive, but only we are working on present, simple present, and simple past passive, okay? So, passive has different tenses, but when you use the passive sentence, you only change the form of the sentence, okay? The tense never changes. So the tense is just like this. For instance, we make butter from milk. The sentence is in simple present tense. So the tense is unchangeable. However, here, just we change the form, okay, of the sentence. That's the case. We change the form of the sentence by putting our objects at the first part of the sentence. So we are not mentioning the doer of the action. So the doer of the action is not very important, okay? Or we can just mention that person at the end of the sentence, okay? So let's go. Here. We make butter from milk. So this is a simple present tense sentence. If we want to make a passive, we should put butter here. Okay, so what was the formula? Am is are plus past participle. Okay, so for butter, we use is. Butter is. And the past participle of make is made. Butter is made from milk. So that's it. Let's go. How often do you clean the rooms? How often do you clean the rooms? Again, this is a question in simple present tense. So we don't want to add you here, okay? So we are only interested to know how often they clean the rooms. So the piece of information which is important is cleaning the room, not the person, okay? So we should ask like this. How often? How often? So for the rooms, we should use are, okay? Are the rooms, because it's a question. We change the places of the auxiliary verb, the to be verb, and our object, okay? So we can say in normal sentence, we say the rooms are cleaned, but in question, how often are the rooms cleaned? That's the case, okay? So let's go to the next sentence. They built the house 100 years ago. So they built the house. Here we are just talking about the house and they built it in the past 100 years ago. So here, if we want to change the sentence into passive form, we need a passive voice, okay, in simple past tense. So the passive voice in simple past tense, was or verb plus past participle. Let's go. So the house is the object. So the house was built, okay, was. According to house, because it's singular, we use was here, and built is the past participle of that, okay? So the house was built 100 years ago, like this. So let's go to question form. When did Graham Bell invented the telephone? So when did Graham Bell invented the telephone? So here, the person is Graham Bell, but we are interested about the action, okay? So we want to know the time when the telephone just came into the market, okay? Or not came into the market, came into existence, okay? So let's go here. When was the telephone invented? So here, do, does, did, we don't have it as an auxiliary in a passive voice question. Pay attention, okay? So here we say telephone was invented. This is a normal sentence. Telephone was invented. And in question form, we change the object, the place of the object, and our to be verb. When was the telephone invented? That's the case. Okay, these were the examples which were just formed in the passive voice. That's the end of this session. For the next session, again, we are going to work on the passive voice, but in different tenses. See you.